All right, welcome guys to the webinar tonight. I'm Trevor. I'm going to be your host again. We're actually going to be talking about blogging and more specifically the value in doing some blog commenting as a marketing practice for a website. For anything really, but using blogs out there for marketing purposes. But I think because this is kind of an intro to blogging and using blogs to marketing, I want to talk first about what is a blog specifically. Now, to some of you guys, you might be thinking, well, that's easy. I know what a blog is. Everybody knows what a blog is. Well, that's not necessarily true. I've got internet marketers working with me that, you know, they're new to this. They haven't done a lot of blogging in their time. So tell me, guys, if you were to concisely explain it to somebody, what would you say a blog is? How would you explain that? Curious to see how you guys would define it. I'm totally clueless, right? I don't have any idea what's a blog. How do I recognize a blog? We're gonna take some notes here. I'm gonna call this. We'll call this. What is a blog? Zoom in just a little more. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I like some of the things you guys have said already. Talking points. This is from you, Don. Talking points about a subject. So it's usually, and I'm gonna say, you know, usually, not all the time, but usually, it's about, you know, one topic or a niche. A lot of blogs try to focus on one specific thing, and it's I'm gonna say too, is kind of an obvious thing. It's usually a website. A blog is also a website, but it's a very specific type of website. And a lot of you guys are saying it's generally more of an opinion-based thing, and I would agree. So it's a website, you know, based on somebody's opinions maybe, or it doesn't necessarily need to be just one person. It could be a group of people collectively that are contributing to this blog, and it's their opinion. So right, there's no rules, and I'm going to put that as number 3. There's no rules. People can blog about whatever they want. And if I'm saying I'm blogging, that basically means I'm on a website where I'm essentially writing articles. I'm writing little, and they don't even have to be articles in the traditional sense of like just paragraphs of words. It could be like you have what are called video blogs, where people just post videos on websites, or you know, they may post pictures and stuff on a blog. We're going to be looking at several examples, but a blog is it doesn't have a lot of firm rules. The rule I can say about a blog is generally it's sort of, you know, chronological, meaning like the newest entries are at the very top of the website, and so it's kind of like a journal, and I guess that's where it really gets its name. It's like your own personal journal online. If you were writing in a journal the old-fashioned way, right? You might have a little book of some sort, and you'll date it, right? You'll say it's March 26, 2015, and then you'll write a little entry. And there's no rules, right? You can write whatever you want in your journal. Well, that's it. A blog is like an online journal. So I could go in there and I could create this blog and I could write about whatever I want. But one of the big distinguishing features of one is it'll always be dated, and it's usually chronological. So it'll be dated. You'll see like date stamps, and that's one way you'll know that it's a blog, because it'll be dated. That's one thing that you can usually see. Because I want to teach you guys how to kind of distinguish a blog from just like a normal website. It's usually informational. So I'll say, you know, informational. So we're talking like articles and photos, maybe videos. You know, it's meant to inform, okay? And I mean, there are other things. Like I'm reading through some of your guys' comments, expressing your opinion on subjects, kind of like a journal, a log of interests. It might look like a column of some sort, almost like a news column that you're writing. Do you guys ever follow like a columnist in like the New York Times? They might write a piece once a week. That's what a blog would be, essentially, somebody's own little column. Now, what topics are blogs on, guys? Are they always like a person's journal? Because my wife has a blog where she actually writes about the events of the week for our family or whatever, and it's a way for her to kind of keep a history of what our family's been up to. A lot of people have like their own personal blogs that would work more like a journal on the internet. But the truth is, and a lot of you guys are saying this, you can write about anything. So back to a marketing standpoint for just a second, like you guys all have websites and businesses that are sort of marketing different products and services. I promise you there are blogs that are written for your niche out there. People are writing blogs about virtually anything. There are probably millions upon millions of blogs out there on the internet. And that's no exaggeration. Any given topic that you can possibly imagine, somebody's out there who's got a blog on it and who's writing about it. And there's probably multiple. So for example, like one of my blogs that I have, it's a personal finance blog. And I've learned a lot about the finance space in the blog world, and there's probably 1,000, 2,000 finance blogs out there. Probably more, but like active, really aggressive finance blogs, there's a couple thousand. That's just in that little niche. There's probably way more than a couple of thousand. I'm probably undershooting that a lot, but there were a few, when I was doing it pretty aggressively, there were a few thousand active ones. There's just, I mean, anything, right? So it can be on absolutely anything. Let me show you guys a few examples for you guys that aren't really familiar. Here's one right here. This is one that I actually read because I'm in the Utah market. I'm a sports fan. The only professional sports we have in Utah is the basketball team. And this is a blog. And the way you tell it's a blog is if you look here, you can see a bunch of articles. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. But see these articles that are written? Okay, here's a headline, and then you see it's dated. And it's usually written by somebody. This is a blog that's sort of a collection of various blog posts or articles that people are putting together that are focusing on basketball in Salt Lake City, specifically the Utah Jazz, right? So you can see it March 14th or March 24th, March 24th, March 24th, March 23rd, March 23rd. Okay. I know it's a blog for that reason, because I can see everything that's sort of dated. Well, what else do you look for, guys? You guys that know about blogs, how else do you sort of distinguish and know a website is a blog, or you're looking at the blog portion of a website? What are other giveaways? I would argue sometimes the address. In this case, this doesn't really tell us. This is saltcityhoops.com. This doesn't tell us in the address that it's a blog. A lot of websites have their domain and it's /blog like that. And you can tell just in the address that you're looking at the blog. Yeah, a couple of you guys hit it already. It's the comments area. So that's one of the other distinguishing features of a blog is if you go into one of these articles, I'm going to click on this one right here. Let's get it to load up here. Here we go. Sorry, my internet's being slow. So here we go. You've got a title. You've got the date. You've got by this Ben Dowsett or Dowsett, however you pronounce it. And then you've actually got the article. And then usually one of the biggest distinguishing characteristics is if you look at the bottom, there's usually a comment section. Okay. That's pretty characteristic of a blog. It's really social. It gives people an opportunity to actually write sort of what they think about the article. So as a blog writer, you put yourself out there a little bit because people can come in here and comment as much as they want. If they didn't like your article, they can say it. Or if they loved it, they can say it. Or if they disagree or agree, whatever the case may be, they can comment on it here. And so they all look a little bit different, but in this comment section, they've got 10 or 15. And if I wanted to, I could come down here and I could write a comment of my own, right? And just for the sake of our discussion, we'll probably do that here in just a second. So that's an example of a blog. Here's a blog. This one's the finance blog I was telling you guys about. This one's called financialnut.com. This is one that I own. I make money off of advertising. A lot of blogs, that's how they make their money, because really a blog doesn't sell anything. A blog is simply just a bunch of information put together, right? But blogs often rank really high in Google, and they often get a lot of traffic. Google really likes a well-done blog. And so this site has gotten a lot of traffic over the years, and therefore I've advertised, and that's how I've monetized it. But if you look at it, you can see this is last dated on, and I know this is way small on your screen because it's small on mine. I'll zoom in a little bit. This was last dated on October 20th, 2011. This is a pretty old blog. In fact, not one that I really keep up, which this is important to know, because if you can see the last blog post, you can get a pretty good idea as to how updated a blog is. So this is a few years old, but you can see the same sort of characteristics. It's date stamped. It's written by an individual, and then it's got the content below, and then it's even got a comment section right here. So all these blogs are going to look similar. They're going to have some of these characteristics, but you know, but they're all going to be formatted a little bit differently. So you want to just look for these distinguishing things so that you can tell what is a blog and what isn't, because sometimes websites kind of take on the same types of looks. We want to be able to identify which ones those are, okay? All right, so clear on that, guys? Does that make sense? Questions so far? Now, knowing that this is kind of what blogging is, are you guys more familiar with this? Does this make sense? You guys read any blogs? A lot of people use them as like news sources sometimes. There can be news blogs, there can be technology blogs, finance blogs, shopping blogs. They're all over the place, lots of different kinds. And they're easy to set up. People can make these blogs pretty easily. So it's, you know what I mean? Like it's very common to have a blog. Okay? All right, so let me show you guys just how to leave a comment here really fast. And yes, Frank just asked, are keywords used to get Google's attention? They certainly are in a blog. Yeah. Those same principles that we've been talking about with like getting Google's attention on a website using keywords, those principles are used here on a blog too. So like these blog pages of mine right here that we're looking at on this finance site, I do meta tags for it. I put keywords in the text. I do alt tags. I have header tags. I do all the same SEO that you guys have learned about. I just do it in articles on a blog, okay? Now, the reason why these matter real quick is they rank really well. Like over the years, Google has learned to sort of seek out really good and informative websites, because people use the internet, of course, not just to buy products, but they use the internet to search for information. There's a stat I read a while ago, and I'm not going to try to quote it exactly because I won't do it justice, but some crazy percentage of people more use the internet to search for informational things as opposed to buying a product. Like, it's pretty common to search the internet to do shopping, but the vast majority of people who use the internet, they look for information, and that's why blogs have become so valuable, because they're full of information. They cover different topics, and so as a result, they've tended to rank pretty well in Google, okay? So they're massively influential on the internet still, and they've been around for quite a few years, you know, for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, but they continue to be influential, and so they're of value to internet marketers for sure. And Bill, that's an interesting point. You say they're sort of like forums. I would say that's kind of true. If you look at a forum, let's look at a personal finance forum. I'm just going to look up a forum for you guys and kind of show you what might be the difference. This is an example of a forum right here. And a forum is just a place where people can get together and talk about different subjects, right? So this is a finance forum, and you'll see there's different topics here. If you click on personal finance, it takes you into all these like little topics that come up. And these topics are created by users, and then anybody who's registered on the forum can come in and actually leave a comment. So for example, like this one right here, David Ramsey style, tried to get out of debt like fast. It's an awkward topic. Let's do something a little bit different. What is the best way to handle this? If you click on this, it'll take you into someone who wrote a post, right? Wrote a little post, maybe has a question, and then all the people who are registered can come in and answer this question. Now, it's different from a blog in some ways, and it's the same in some ways. It's the same in that they're all date stamped. So you can see this is date stamped right here. This was done March 4th at a certain time, this little written post right here. But it's different from a blog because this person doesn't own the website. In most cases, a blog is where the person who writes the little post like this would actually own the overall website, whereas a forum is more, they're just contributing to a community. So they're a little bit different. We can use forums in our marketing as well, but in a lot of ways they are similar, Bill, for sure. Just a little bit different. Okay. So let me show you guys how to leave a comment, right? Pretty straightforward and easy, but I'll show you. So going back to this this Salt City Hoops site, if I wanted to leave a comment, I first got to look to find where the comment section is. Sometimes it's at the top where you click on a link to leave a comment. Other times it's all the way at the very bottom. In this case, it's all the way at the bottom. And I could come in here and I could leave a comment, and I could say something like, you know, I really agree with your take on Trey Burke. I think he's a great basketball player, but he really needs to find his place in the NBA. Okay, so there's my comment. I didn't even read the article, but I'm just kind of, I mean, it was something about that, right? So then that's my comment, that's my take or my opinion on it. I can come down here in the email and I can put in my email address, right? Here's an email address. I'll put in my name. And then notice here this last box. Now, not all blogs will do this, but notice how the last box asks for, I'll zoom in so you guys can see this better. It asks for a website. Okay? This is where the marketing portion of blog commenting becomes kind of valuable, because if I left a comment here, okay, right, something interesting, something of value, I'm going to put in my website. I'll call this, you know, financialnut.com, whatever site I'm trying to market. And I hit post comment. It says the comments being submitted here, and this won't all look the same for you guys, but it'll look similar. And there it goes. It just refreshed the page. Now I could scroll down here and see if my comment was approved. There's usually a period of time where it's being moderated, and you know, people will actually look to decide whether or not my comment should be approved. If I'm writing a bunch of garbage or inappropriate things, I probably won't get my comment approved. But if it's relevant to the article and it's coherent, they'll probably approve my comment, and it'll stay here on this website. Now again, you know, why would that be valuable? What you know, how can we use that? Knowing that we can make a comment like that, how would that apply to us who are, you know, internet marketers trying to market our company? What do you guys think? Any ideas, guys? Yeah, right? Like some of you guys are saying if my link can stay here, sorry, my screen's not loading. It looks like the website's not loading out very quickly. But let's assume my comment gets approved for a sec, right? That means my comment there and my link is there as well to my website. Now, it may not show www.financialnut.com. It may just link my name, and I would show you what I mean if this would load up. Let me give you another example on another site while that's just kind of loading. Here's the comment section of Financial Nut on one of my posts, and you'll notice that this guy John right here, he left a comment on this post, and his name is linked. Right? That's because when he left a comment, he put in his website, and if I clicked on the name John, it would take me out to his website. So that's the option that we're getting when we post a comment on a blog, is that you can put in your name, whoever you are, right? This guy right here, he's branding himself a little bit. He's Tony at A Young Investor. If I click on that link, it'll pull me out to his site. So in its most basic form, a blog comment can be an opportunity to bring a visitor to your site, right? If they click on your name. But what are the chances, guys? So like these people all left, there's 5 comments on this. What are the chances somebody's actually going to click on one of these links? Do you think that actually happens? On the other blog, there was 15 comments, and the site's just completely not working. Let me see if I can click out of it. Try it again. saltcityhoops.com. But like, do you think that would happen? Some of you guys are like, maybe. James, you say slim to none. It's possible, right? What would influence that, in your opinion? Well, what would influence somebody clicking on your link in your blog comment? You kind of hit the point there, Catherine. You're saying someone who likes your comment may click on the link to your site. Yeah, the thoughtfulness, the quality of your comment, right? The relevance of your point. In other words, if you guys went in there and left a comment on this Salt City Hoops site like I did, and it was totally generic, and wasn't mine generic? I said something, I didn't even read the article, right? So how good could my comment have been? I got in there and I said something generic about, I knew it was about this guy named Trey Burke, right? So I wrote something generic about him, and so like, you think that's going to actually drive traffic to my site? Probably not, right? But what if I got in there and I said something really thoughtful, something really smart, right? Maybe something a little controversial. Would that potentially get someone to click on the link? And I would argue yes. I mean, there's lots of comments on different blogs. It looks like this Salt City Hoops isn't going to load up for us, so we'll use a different example. Let me use an example of a busier blog. Okay, GetRichSlowly.com is a blog that I know. Again, I'm in the finance space. Oh, hold on, that's not right. Is it .org maybe? Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's find one. Okay, here you go. We know this is a blog. You can tell it's got common features, right? It's got the date. It's got a title. It's written in articles. You can see it's chronological. March 26th, March 25th. Let's go down and read this one right here, How to Save Money on Dental Bills. Okay? It looks like a little article about just that. Tips for saving money on dental bills, okay? So, and then they've got a comment section at the very bottom, and you've got all these people that are writing these comments. Same thing applies here. You'll notice, see the names of these people. Okay, Nicole and Maggie is the name here. They say be careful with number 5. Frontline did a documentary a few years back showing they overdiagnosed the need for expensive procedures. Okay, let's say I found that just incredibly useful and valuable, and I appreciated the comment. I might actually come up here and click on this person's name, and I'm going to do it, and it's going to take me over to their website. Okay, here's their website right here. Their thoughtful, insightful comment just elicited a click over into their site. Okay, and that can happen. I'm just saying, and I hope you guys are taking from this the actual possibility of that happening is, like you said, James, it's absolutely slim to none if your comment is totally generic and not valuable and doesn't add to the discussion. The whole point is that when you read one of these articles, you can comment and actually add to the point, or say something that goes against what the article's all about. That's fine too. But whatever your comment is, make it valuable. If it's incredibly generic, and like mine, it shows that you didn't even read the article, your comment probably won't even get posted. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom of this, and let me give you an example of what not to do really quick. Okay, so here's their little comment section. So I need to put in my name. I'm going to do Trevor. Okay, put in my email address. Okay, put in an email, put in my website. You usually want to do the HTTP as well. So http://www. Do uptownpearl.com this time. Okay. And what if I did I got lazy, right? And I'm just trying to make lots of comments to see if I get lucky here. So I'm like, great article. Thanks for posting. I really appreciate all of what you just told me. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, there's nothing stopping me from actually posting that. I could hit submit comment. Okay, and first of all, there's a possibility I could not even get posted here, because there's moderators that look at most of your comments before they get posted. So the owner of this blog, or someone who the owner employs, will probably look at my comment before they'll post it. And what do you think they think about my comment when they see it, if I actually left that right there? I mean, let's say you were the owner of this blog. What would you think about a comment like that? Yeah, it's lazy, it's vague. Here's the question that you'd have to ask yourself: if I left such a lazy, vague comment, what was my whole purpose in leaving that comment in the first place? Like, why? If I'm the owner of this getrichslowly.org and I saw someone post something like this, what can I assume their whole motive was for even making that comment? Because it certainly wasn't to like add to the discussion about saving on dental bills, right? Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying it, right? The purpose was for me to try to get some cheap advertising, right? Because if I post that, my link gets on their site. And we've talked about before, why does that matter? I mean, first of all, I could get somebody to click on the link and they could come and find my site. But what do links tend to do for us as search engine, as marketers? If we got a link from a blog, how does that affect us from a search engine standpoint? Right? What does Google actually think about links? Why does that matter? We've talked about this in some of the previous webinars that we've done. It improves your ranking, right? Because Google's out there counting the number of links I'm getting and the quality of the links that I'm getting. So even if I didn't get somebody to click on my link here to find my site, this could still carry a little bit of value because Google knows about it, right? That might actually help my ranking. So you guys can see on the surface, there's two really big values to blog commenting. Number one is, if you comment on a blog post and you leave a really quality comment, there's a chance somebody's going to want to learn more about the person who left that comment, so they're going to click on your link. That's one huge value. And then the other one is simply the link itself. We've talked all about that. This link itself can be seen by Google and will probably help me rank a little bit better in search engine results. Okay? Now, as far as like how good the link actually is, the quality of the link, it's not a high quality link. Google knows what a blog comment is. And if they saw my link here, they wouldn't give it lots and lots of credit, because Google knows that I can create these links on my own. I mean, like if they're looking at this versus a link that is just found in the general content of an article that points to my site, that's going to be a far more valuable link to me than, you know, than some blog comment, because Google knows I can manufacture those. Okay? So it's not way high quality, but it's still a link nonetheless. The issue here, though, guys, I'm not even going to hit submit comment, because I can promise you there's not a chance that I'll ever get posted on this site with a comment like this. Okay? There's no way. They're gonna delete that, and I'll never show up. What I need to do here, and I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to actually read a couple of points in the article. And this is really what you guys need to do. You need to look at the article and actually see what it's talking about. So they talk about 8 ways to save money on dental bills. So number 1, open up an HSA, use flexible spending dollars, go to dental school, pick a dentist with a payment. That's kind of a funny one. It's not go to dental school to save on your on your dental bills. Visit a retail dental clinic, buy a dental Groupon. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say, because I can relate to some of this. I'm going to say something like, this is great. I think that, let's see, let's start that over. Hold on, let me zoom in so you guys can see. Here we go. For the longest time, my family and I found a cheap dental office that was staffed by local college students who were in a local dental program. Yes, their experience was lacking, but we found the price to be absolutely worth it. So, my advice is to try to find something connected with a dental school in the area. You'll find cheap options. Okay? So that was a lot more thoughtful, right? That was actually real. I mean, I actually feel that way. That happened to me. We used to go to this really, it was called like half-price dental. It was really cheap, but yeah, I mean, the experience there was lacking because it was college kids. So anyway, I'm writing something that's actually relatable and true, and it's related to the article. The chances of this getting posted is great. Now, was it something life-changing? No, right? So I don't know if I'm actually going to get somebody who's clicking on my link. Maybe if I told some crazy story, maybe, or maybe if I wrote something where I'm like, I really disagree with a point in the article here. I just think that the author missed the point here. You know, I could say something more like that, and that'll probably get more attention, but this will at least allow the comment to stay. Okay, so I'll hit submit comment, and we'll see what happens. I could probably check back here in a few days. I don't know how often they update this. It's a pretty active blog, so my guess is probably quite a bit. Let me scroll down to the bottom. Yeah, so mine doesn't show up. Sometimes they'll show up automatically, but anyway, there's a really good chance I'm going to get included here. And so I just gained myself a link, right? And I gained myself an opportunity to get clicked on. Now, for just a second, let's step back. Rick, you just made a point that I want to discuss for just a second. This is So this is a finance website, right? It's all about, I mean, if you guys learn more about it, it's called getrichslowly.org. I think it's a great website. I've read it for a long time. This is a blog that I've read on a regular basis for a lot of years. Getrichslowly.org. Personal finance blog, teaches you how to manage your money, right? I just posted a link related to uptownpearl.com. So I'm out there trying to promote a website, and I'll show it to you guys right now. I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but let me do some shameless promotion here and just show you what it is. So this is the site I'm trying to promote, uptownpearl.com. It sells pearl jewelry. What's the chances of the readers that are reading something like Get Rich Slowly, what's the chances that they would actually be interested in a site that sells pearls? Is there any real relation there? In fact, I'd argue those are probably not really my customers, right? Because pearls are kind of an expensive extra, and these people who are reading Get Rich Slowly, you can probably deduce that they're money savvy people, right? People who are interested in learning about saving money. There's no real relation, right? So I don't think, I don't, this comment isn't really going to do me much good. I mean, what's the chances of somebody who's reading a finance blog who's going to see my link, click on it, and then go buy a pearl necklace? I mean, it's not likely at all. I might get lucky and somebody does. They click on it because I made such an insightful comment that they're like, wow, let me check out what this guy's up to. Oh, cool, it's a pearl website. Great, I'm going to shop and buy something for my wife. That's not going to happen. That's too far of a stretch. But there's still some value to this because I got a link going back to my site, right? But let's just establish once again, it's a low quality link, and Google realizes that there's not really a connection either. And that's just how powerful Google is. They can tell that this is a personal finance site and that mine is a pearl site, and they're going to wonder too, why is there a link going back and forth? It's just not going to be a valuable link at all. So the moral of my short story here is you've got to, in the world of using blog commenting as a marketing strategy, you want to find related blogs. So I shouldn't be here on a personal finance blog. I should be going to Google right now, which is exactly what I'll do. And I would say, let me find a pearl blog. Just search for what's in your niche, okay? So let's see if we can find something related to my niche. So here you go. I'll just click on the top listing. Okay, this is called Pearl Paradise Blog. I usually like to make some observations when I first see it. This one, I like to see how up to date it is. The last post on this was made on March 26th of this year, so today. It's obviously very up to date. I like to see if the blog is connected to somebody's retail store. So a lot of times in the retail space, and we'll see this with pearl blogs, somebody will have like a pearl site selling pearls, and then they'll also have a blog that has information about pearls. So I want to see if this is like a retail store site. It doesn't look like it is. It looks like it might be somebody's site that's just interested in pearls. I'm going to click around on some of the links here. Yeah, I don't think, I can't see where this would be sort of like promoting. It looks like it's promoting some different companies that sell pearls. So my guess is I'm looking at this site, like if I clicked on, yeah, see this? Like this person's writing about pearls, but if I clicked on this link, it would push me over to a place that sells pearls. So they either have like an affiliate relationship with a pearl company, or they are this other pearl company. If I clicked on this right here, it would take me over to pearlparadise.com that sells pearls. So there you go. So they've got a motive here. It looks like this blog is, yes, very informational, but it looks like it's trying to promote pearls. That's fine. It's still in my space. And if I look at this first blog post, it looks like they're going to take a trip They're taking a trip to Hong Kong. Let's see. We got pictures of it. Oh, so it's like it's where they grow a lot of these pearls, it looks like. Sorry, I'm just reading this here. Okay, so okay. Well, I should probably read this in more detail if I'm actually going to comment, or else I'm going to not get my comment approved. Anyway, I would look for an opportunity to comment, and there's one right here. You see leave a comment. If I clicked on that, there's an option here at the bottom where looks like I could leave a comment, okay? Anyway, I'm not going to comment and show you this right now, but this would be a place that I would potentially comment. If they're representing another company, there's a chance if they see my comment and I leave uptownpearl.com in the comment box, they're probably not going to accept my comment, right? But I could certainly try it. And certainly readers of a blog like this who saw my comment and clicked on it might come over and actually purchase something for me or from me. This is obviously a very relatable blog. What I'd really be searching for in blog commenting right now is I'd be looking for blogs that they don't have to be directly related to pearls here, guys. I'd like them to be. I'd love to find blogs out there that just teach about pearls, like what they are and maybe how they fit into fashion and how they're even trendy or classy today in 2015. I want to find informational blogs that aren't necessarily tied to a store. I'd love to comment on stuff like that. I just have to find it in Google. I would try commenting on anything related to pearls. But outside of that, what's really my niche here, guys? I know it's pearls that I'm trying to sell, but is there any sort of like fringe industries that maybe I could look to comment on that would make sense for this niche? What do you guys think? I'm a pearl store. There's got to be more than just pearl blogs I can comment on, right? What else would be related to maybe what I'm doing? Yeah, good. So jewelry in general. Yeah, that's true, LJ. Just jewelry blogs, which there's a ton of those out there. Fashion accessories, I couldn't agree more, Catherine. There's fashion blogs out there that I could comment on for sure. In fact, I remember when I was looking through Google earlier today, commenting. Oh, where was it? I'll just go back to Google. There was one I found. Let's do Pearl blog. I think it might have been this one, classygirlswearpearls.com. Yeah, this is a really common type of blog in sort of like the fashion space where you have the owner of this blog, which is presumably this girl, who posts pictures of herself wearing different outfits and things. And then she has like affiliate links here. So like she'll post herself wearing all this stuff, and then she'll have links in the bottom to different stores that she makes money off of if you buy it, right? So like this would be a great one for me to comment on, because if I could find something that I thought like a pearl accessory would really fit the outfit well, then I would make that comment. Now what's funny about that, guys, is I'm an internet marketer that has an interest in a pearl site, but I'm a guy too, right? I don't have the first clue about sort of how pearls fit into like a dress or a fashion, right? I might have to ask my wife about that. And that hopefully brings up a good point to you guys, that it's often really good as an internet marketer when you're choosing your niche to actually have some interest in what you're selling, because when you get to this point where you're starting to do some real marketing for your business, it's going to become a little more difficult for me because I don't really know my niche as well as I should. I could get in here and really learn, and I could try to fake it and pretend like I know how pearls would fit into these different outfits that this girl's wearing. But I mean, come on, I don't have any real idea, right? So hopefully that's something you guys can take away from this too. I've told all of you guys who I've ever done businesses with that it's valuable to have some passion or interest behind what you're doing. And this is one of the reasons, because when you get into marketing, it pays to maybe know a little bit about it. Now, I'm not saying I couldn't still be successful in this. I definitely still think I will be. It's just I'm going to have to do a little extra homework on how making comments on a blog like this would actually be valuable and not and not get deleted and not be so blatantly obvious that I'm on here trying just to get links that my comments get deleted. Okay. So one thought too, real quick before I move off this point. Another strategy here is on a blog like this. I don't know if I would make my first post something where I try to advertise my link. Okay, I might actually make my first post something that doesn't have a link at all. I'm just going to say something about one of the outfits that she's wearing and make a little comment about it or whatever, and then just leave it. I'm not going to try to advertise my site at all. I want to look like I'm legit, and I may get back here and comment 4 or 5 times and really sort of, get recognized on the site a little bit and make some really nice, insightful comments, and other readers may notice me a little bit, and then I might drop a link once I build a little credibility on the site. And I might actually get some people that'll click on my link. And my link probably won't get deleted because the owner of the blog, who may have seen me comment a little bit, isn't going to look at me so suspiciously because they know I've commented without links before. So sometimes in blog commenting, it's wise to build up a little rapport before you drop that link. Okay? That's just a little thought. But guys, you can find these blogs everywhere. Just Google them. I know that sounds a little cliche, I suppose. You just Google it, right? You can find it. Well, it's true. There are going to be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of blogs that I can try this with. And I might keep notes somewhere of the blogs that are working and the blogs that aren't, where I'm getting comments. And in fact, back to our Google Analytics webinar a little while back, I can go back to my Google Analytics and track which blogs are actually sending me traffic. I'll never forget, there was a time in the past where I commented on a blog and I checked my Google Analytics the next day, and that single blog comment I made had sent me over 1,000 visitors in less than 24 hours because that blog post essentially got reposted on a large sort of popular blog. It was the MSN Money blog, and because I was one of the first comments, I made a comment towards the very top and left my link, and I got thousands of visitors to come to my site. Like there are those types of opportunities in blog commenting. It was crazy. I saw my Google Analytics just spike clear to the top. So I knew that was a great place to leave comments, and so for months and months and months after that, I watched that blog, and whenever a new blog post would come out, boom, I would get on there and leave a comment, and I'd get tons of traffic to the site. It was fantastic. So there's opportunities like that. You can use your Google Analytics to really value or give you an idea of the value of a certain blog over another. And yeah, Rick, to clarify what I mean, in a blog comment, that website block there, that website section, I may just leave it blank. Some blogs don't have a spot for a website. So you may run into that a little bit. You may get a name and an email in a blog box or like a comment box, and you may have to put your link in the box as opposed to in like its own little website box. So, and at that point, if you're going to leave your link in the actual comment itself, you really need to sort of like work it in and make it relevant to your comment. So there's a lot more to this. We'll probably do several webinars just on blog commenting alone, but this is going to be a good opportunity for you guys on a high level to first of all see the value. You can get links from it, albeit low quality. They still are links. Some may be better quality from better sites. That'll help you with your Google rankings, and then it's the potential of making contacts, learning about the industry. That you'll certainly do as you start reading blogs and commenting, and then maybe getting direct traffic that leads to new customers and new sales, and that's a very real thing with this strategy. It does work. I've done it for a number of years, and it really does. So just use some of the thoughts we had here and just make your comments meaningful and make sure you're adding value. And I won't recap everything we've talked about, but hopefully you guys can take this little piece and apply it to your marketing strategy. We'll get into more detail on this more in other webinars, but this is kind of a high-level look at why it's valuable. Sue, you asked me to reiterate what I mean by Google Analytics. Google Analytics, I did it I did a big sort of tutorial and walkthrough of what it is in a past webinar a couple of weeks ago. But Google Analytics is basically a statistical tracking software that will show you where all of your website visitors are coming from, how long they've been on your site, what pages they visited. So it's a way to track what's actually happening on your website. It's a free software. So if you have a website, you always make sure you connect Google Analytics to it. And of course, your coach, in this case me, can help you with that going forward. But that's what it's for, to track that traffic. Yeah, okay. It was on March 5th, Catherine. I can't even remember. I should bring it up. In fact, I'll do that just really quick for you guys that want to know more about Google Analytics. If you go to my onto the YouTube channel, you can find it there under playlists, marketing. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here. How to use Google Analytics, a tutorial and case study. So that's where you can learn more about it if you want to, Sue. Okay, so I'm going to leave it open we're just going to do this for just a couple more minutes. Feel comfortable asking some questions. I know we hurried through a lot of this. We're just about over time. But what questions do you guys have about blog commenting? I want to make sure everybody's kind of clear on what it is and why we do it and how it can work with your niche. For those of you guys who have websites that you're actually marketing right now, I'd like you to start. There's no reason to hold back on this. We've talked about doing some directories for linking. Let's maybe work into blog commenting as well. I'll give you guys a minute to ask away, and then we'll finish up. Also, for those of you guys who don't have questions, you feel like that was a little quick, like maybe we need to spend a little bit more time on maybe actually doing it. I mean, I'm thinking maybe it would be wise to take like 30 minutes one of these times and just sit there and just submit my site to blogs and just show you exactly how I do it and how I find blogs. I mean, I showed you kind of, but we only did just a couple of examples, so maybe I could do that as well. It's not really an acronym, Rick. It's short for weblog, so WEBLOG, so a weblog. So people have just shortened it and called it a blog instead, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good summary of what we're trying to do here, Kirk. So Kirk says, so basically the point here is to find blogs associated with our niche, and that could be directly associated, like we suggested for me with pearls, or something on the fringe in the fashion industry, other jewelry, whatever, clothing, accessories. That would work for my niche. You have other things on the fringe that would work for you too, Kirk. But find things associated with your niche. Find them in Google. That's usually a great place to start looking. There's other places you can find blogs, but that's a great place to start. And then, yeah, offer good, detailed comments while leaving your link. And not always leaving the link on the first try, but sometimes maybe building up a rapport. Yeah, that's a good summary. Melody, you say I'm not a good writer and I'm having trouble writing my own blog. Do you have any pointers? I do, Melody. We're gonna talk about creating and writing and doing your own blog in subsequent weeks. Luckily, that makes two of us at least, because I'm no great writer as well. Not even close, right? My background's in finance, but I've managed to be able to learn how to blog and do a good job with it, and I know we can teach you how to do it too. So we'll be doing that in other webinars. For you guys who are leaving comments, though, you definitely don't have to be a great writer for that too. You don't have to use perfect grammar or perfect spelling or punctuation. It certainly helps in your comments to make them a little more coherent, but that's not a requirement. So don't worry if you're not some great writer. That's not gonna destroy this strategy for you. But just like anything, it's a skill, right? And so you'll improve with it. It's funny, if you're an internet marketer, writing and communicating through text over the internet does become a pretty valuable skill. So if you're not great at it, you'll get better at it. And if you're sort of scared at it, or scared of it, don't be, because we'll work with you on it for sure. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish up and turn off the recording, and then we'll take a couple last questions and call it good. For those of you guys who are watching this recorded, thanks for coming, and if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact your coach. Thanks.